Underground Bunker. This is your proprietor. Monday afternoon after a long day of sitting around. But as I indicated at my lunch break, a lot of excitement this morning as we lost a couple of jurors to COVID, but they were replaced by alternates. We're now at a 6-6 jury, 6 men, 6 women. And once they got going, a little bit different story this time. They took a very short morning break. They worked into the lunch hour a little bit. They took a very short afternoon break, and they worked right up to 4 p.m. before they broke. That's quite a bit different than it was before the Thanksgiving week. So hopefully replacing these 2 jurors has meant that this group can work together a little better. I did get to see the jurors as they left, both at lunch and at the end of the day, and I can tell you there was not the defeated look that I noticed in them before the Thanksgiving week. This time, definitely, I'm not going to say they look like happy people, but there was definitely a better energy from them. This time, it seems like they maybe are getting along and getting some stuff done. I don't know exactly what that's going to mean, but the other journalists and we all seem to be a little more optimistic about the chance of there being a verdict, maybe tomorrow. In my end of the day report, the afternoon was slow, okay? We're just journalists sitting there telling stories, trying to relieve the boredom. But I did get a couple of interesting reports in the afternoon. One journalist has managed to finally identify the mystery man. This guy, way back on October 11th when this thing started, I was the pool reporter, and there was only one seat for a media person, and that was me. There was only one other seat in the courtroom for the public, and this guy showed up every morning early to make sure he got that seat. So we were pretty sure he was probably with some Scientology law firm. And there's there's nothing wrong with Scientology wanting to keep an eye on this case. It's related to the civil lawsuit for sure. But it was funny that he wouldn't identify himself, and journalists went right up to him and asked him, "What firm are you with? Who are you?" And he wouldn't say. And then in the LA Times piece by Noah Goldberg, you may have noticed he talked about how everyone was speculating about this guy. He's got these tattoos they can see. And at one point when Jane Doe 3 had her terrible panic attack talking about Scientology, Noah mentioned that the mystery man on his notepad had written the word childish. And then I mentioned that Jeffrey Augustine at one point, when the man's phone had lit up with a call, saw that Vicky Podbreski's name was on there. And Vicky Podbreski's a well-known Scientology attorney, so that was confirmation for us that this guy is watching Scientology, watching the trial for the church. But again, we didn't know who he was until today. A journalist came in, showed us his picture. She figured it out. His name's Dylan Kellerman, and he's with Winston & Strawn, very big law firm, which also employs William Foreman, the attorney for the Church of Scientology in the civil lawsuit. And the other thing I thought was funny was he spells his name Dillon, Dylan Kellerman, which is the same way that Dylan Millar spells his name. He's a young attorney at Vicky Podbreski's firm. So for some bizarre reason, we have 2 attorneys named Dylan, spelled Dillon, watching the Danny Masterson trial on behalf of attorneys who represent the Church of Scientology. So anyway, it was a fun little mystery. I'm glad that journalist figured it out, and she gave me permission to write about it and inform the rest of you. So yeah, mystery solved, and you can look up his picture. You see what I mean. Tall, good-looking dude, and he's been taking copious notes for Scientology. The other little tidbit that came to me this afternoon, I think I mentioned on the Friday before the Thanksgiving break, when we found out that the jury was not coming to any verdicts, That morning, Judge Olmedo, feeling sorry for us reporters on our third day of deliberations, brought us breakfast burritos. And actually, she explained that she likes to, on Fridays, bring breakfast burritos to the jury, and she'd had, a little extra, and so she brought them out to us as journalists. It wasn't that she had bought them specifically for us, but there was enough left over, and we all appreciated that very much. Very nice gesture from a judge who knows that, we're stuck there just sitting in her courtroom all day. Well, it had gotten back to me, and I think I mentioned to you that some people in the hallway had told me that the Mastersons were very unhappy about this, and were even talking about whether there was something they could do about this, having Cohen declare a mistrial or something. Well, today, a journalist who I really trust, he really knows his stuff. We saw Chris Wadhams come into the courtroom briefly. He's a tall friend of Danny and Bijou, who gave his kidney to Bijou when she was sick. Great family friend, small-time actor. Chris Wadhams came into the court and walked out, and then my journalist friend said, "That's the guy who was so worked up about the burritos." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, he was really angry that the judge was giving breakfast burritos to that anti-Scientology blogger." I said, "You're telling me that..." I'd heard that the Mastersons were unhappy about the judge doing that, but are you sure they were specifically talking about me? He said, "Yeah, no question." That's what they wanted to make big deal about, was that Judge Olmedo had done something friendly to this, guy on the fringes of the internet who writes about Scientology. Well, as I said in my report today, I'd like to see them try. That would be pretty funny. Another day. Another lack of a verdict, but still things happened and it was fun. So, we'll be back tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, hoping this jury can really get to some verdicts. And like I said, everyone's feeling like that chances of that have increased a little. This group seems like they're getting something done. So we'll see. Gosh, it's kind of chilly for LA. So, Monday afternoon, your proprietor, from the Clara Shortridge Foltz Criminal Justice Center, signing out.